So my win is that tapping really works for emotional things. Like if I'm angry at somebody or I'm feeling frustrated over anything in my life, if I take the time and I go and I tap, it definitely clears the anger and I can go on with my day and like, it's gone. I'm really struggling with the eating part of it. Like it doesn't seem to work for the food stuff. I basically like, I love eating healthy and I do it and I like exercising. But what happens to me is that it's like a cycle and I am really great and I'm doing well. And then I go out with my girlfriends and we have a couple of glasses of wine. And then either that night or the next morning, I don't care. Like I call it like, and excuse my French, but I call it like the buckets. Like, I'm like, I don't care. Like I'll just eat, whatever. And I always go in saying like, I'm just going to have like one thing, and then it like just starts steamrolling. And I literally go through everything that I like want to eat in one day. And I try pushing it away. And I literally sit there and nothing, all that comes is like, I just want to eat the food.
Tell me about what you like. How do you start your day? Because what I'm sensing is that you start it in a diet mentality. And so once you have a few glasses of wine, you relax. And because you've been kind of willpowering yourself all day, you relax a little bit and then you're like, okay, let's just have fun, because you actually like, you're really strict with yourself, but you don't really like to be that strict because it's not that fun.
Yeah, that's it. It's it.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. Like I'll like it for a certain amount of time. Like it'll make me feel good. Like my body will feel good. I'll be in a good mood. And then once I choose to let myself go a little bit, it goes out of control. Or like use tapping to just have, like, I don't want to deprive myself, you know what I mean? So, I'm like, I don't want to deprive myself, but I don't want to keep going and then have it be like an all day binge.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're depriving yourself though in the mornings? Like think like when you're like, okay, I'm being good. Whenever anybody uses that word to me, that like sets off all of my like, oh, this is diet mentality, right? So, if you're starting off like, oh, I'm eating egg whites or I'm just having a little toast, or like you kind of start your morning and have like very little food. And then at lunch you have a salad. And then at dinner you have like a, whatever. That's not enough food for your body. For me, what I always tell people to do is if you're having something very little for breakfast, flip flop it and have like a huge breakfast, like a really, really big calorically dense first meal and second meal, because your metabolism is the highest. You actually are burning the most calories in the day. And, I think the diet mentality in the diet industry has kind of made us feel like we need to start every day depriving ourselves. And there's just so many things that are wrong with that. I'm working on a class where I'm going to dive into this more deeply and go into this in greater detail. But basically I think it affects you from an abundance standpoint in so many ways, and especially psychologically around food. So what I would do is I would just flip flop it and just, go for a week and start every meal, like have breakfast, like I have like a really big breakfast, like 2 eggs, some bacon, 2 pieces of toast. For me, I have like a really, really big smoothie. I put 2 scoops of peanut butter in it. I put a bunch of fruit, bananas, the whole thing. It's probably like a 500 or 600 calorie smoothie. And then lunch, I kind of do the same thing. Like I'll have like a bowl of pasta, some veggies, some chicken. Like as my day progresses, I actually tend to eat kind of less and less because I've filled up so much of my day already in the beginning of my day. So what that does for me and for my body is that keeps me balanced. So what I would do is I would just start experimenting with doing the opposite of what you've been doing. So if you notice you're eating more at night, try to start eating more in the morning and then just see if that still happens. And then maybe even experiment with going out with your friends and having a few glasses of wine after you've had like, a good amount of food for that day and see if it happens. Because I'm not sensing that it's a trauma thing with you. That's why the tapping's not working. I feel like you're depriving your body. And so your body's always going to win. Like if you're not getting enough food, if you've started kind of your day in this deprivation mentality, your your body's gonna respond, and it's gonna want to balance things out. So yeah, I mean, you might be able to do tapping to kind of, bring it down a little bit or whatever, but I don't know. I think this is just sort of a mental shift for you. I don't think that it's a tapping thing.
And you don't think I'll put on weight doing that?
Well, no, I think when you look at the calories of what you do when you binge and having more food in the morning, that'll be hard. That's where you're tapping. Yeah, that's where your tapping will have to come in, is the fear of gaining weight. So if you're eating more in the morning, and like this was a really hard shift for me to make too, because I had that same thing. Like, oh my God, if I had like 2 scoops of 600 calories in the morning, oh my God, it's so much. It's not, because this is what your body's burning the most amount of calories during the day. Okay. So just try it for a week and tap on any anxiety or fear around like gaining weight or getting fat or whatever it is you say to yourself, and just see what happens there. Yeah, I think that'll really help though.
Okay, so tapping more on the anxiety around it, not on the actual food or the cravings.
Yeah, tapping on the anxiety of feeding yourself more in the morning and at lunchtime.